Hello,
Hello for you.
how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
That's good. Thanks for joining us, Nelly.
My pleasure.
We'll just hopefully wait for a few people to come in over the
Great.
next few minutes. Yeah.
Are
Where-
you
where-
located in Europe?
No, I'm near Sydney in Australia.
Okay, I'm in US, in close to Washington DC. So it's
Okay.
almost 5 p.m. for us.
Yeah. Good. Well, I hope this time's not too bad for you.
Yeah.
We'll probably have people joining from everywhere, but probably predominantly your time zone, I think, but we'll see.
Sounds good. I will mute myself. There's a lot of activity in the house.
Okay. No worries. We've got a few more people coming in the next few minutes. Okay.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Juan. How are you? Hi, Trisha. You're still coming in. Hi, Trisha.
Hey, good evening, guys. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Guess it's more than evening. It's late for you, huh?
No, it's for me. I'm in Australia now, so it's morning for me.
Oh, nice. Good.
Hi, John.
Hi all. Hello.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Hi.
Hi, Nina.
Morning. Try that again.
I can hear you.
Good to see everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll have mainly those of us who are in Asian time zones and maybe North America today. We'll see.
Hey, Dylan.
John.
Morning all.
Morning.
Evening.
And I'm recording the session. A few people have asked for it, that they can't attend for a recording. So if anyone's got any problem with that, let me know. We may have to stop it, but hopefully everyone's comfortable. All right, we can't see anyone else trying to get in, so some may come late, which is fine. So we might get going then. So for those I haven't met, I'm Rick Walters, Chief of Standards and Innovation at GRES. I've been in that role since the start of last year. Before that, I was Director of Infrastructure, looking after the infrastructure team. So as Director of Standards, as Chief of Standards and Innovation, I look after the main liaison with the GRES Foundation, particularly the Foundation Board. You'll obviously get to know me in that capacity. And my innovation part is looking after new products and markets that we're looking at. But primarily my role as Chief of Standards is relevant to this discussion today. So hopefully you're getting up to speed on the GRES Foundation, and certainly I'd like to start with a bit of a congratulations for all of you for joining one of the two standards committees that we've set up, real estate or infrastructure. We've got a mix here today. We had a call earlier for the other time zone and had a good group on that as well. Questions and answers. So happy to field further questions today. I'll finish my introduction and get a couple of my colleagues to introduce themselves. And we're also very fortunate to have Deborah Ng from Ontario Teachers on the call as well. Deborah is a member of the Foundation Board, so I'll put you on notice, Deb, that I'll get you to speak in a moment, just to say a hello and welcome from the Foundation Board. Today, before I just introduce my colleagues, today is really just a Q&A, so I haven't got anything to present. I'm happy to talk about anything you like around the Standards Committee, but the idea of today is just to help you on board to the Standards Committee. Some of you have a lot of experience with GRES, have maybe been on committees in the past, some of you have not. So we want you all to be ready to participate fully, know what's going on, know what you've signed up for, and ready to go on the first meeting, which is next week. And just briefly, that we can talk more about this if you like, but the topic of the first meeting will be primarily focused on the strategy for our roadmap of how the standards will evolve over the coming 2 years. So we want you to be able to get straight into that. So hence having a Q&A session today. Hopefully you've all watched the training video and looked at the terms of reference and anything else that might be relevant to prepare yourselves anyway. And there will be a pack coming out today in advance of that meeting next week. So there'll be a bunch of information to prepare for that meeting. So that's the background to today, but I'll hand over to my colleague, Joss Lemaire, who's the Director of Infrastructure, to introduce himself, and then Juan, and then we'll go to Deborah.
Hi everyone, morning, afternoon, evening. Nice to be here. As Rick says, I'm probably a relatively new face for most people on the call, but really looking forward to meeting you all as part of the roadmap development process, and obviously in particular working closely with everyone on the infrastructure side, with the first meeting next week. So there'll be a lot of work to do, but I think it's exciting stuff, and yeah, looking forward to hearing all about your insights into how we take this process forward and how we get the best result by the end of the year. So yeah, that's everything from me. I'll pass over to Juan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Juan Rodriguez. I'm an intern at GRESB. I've been helping with setting up the foundation board, and now the standards committee. So yeah, I've been accompanying to this process, and it's wonderful to have you here. So welcome to the standards committee, and happy to help with any doubts you have. Great,
thanks for that one. And yeah, Deborah, if you don't mind putting you on the spot a little bit, would you be able to just say a bit of a welcome and introduction for yourself from the Foundation Board?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Rick, and thank you and welcome to everybody on the Standards Committee. I have been involved with GRES for many years, starting in the early days when it first started just as a real estate benchmark, and then really became a lot more actively involved when GRES expanded to include an infrastructure assessment. And really, even to this day, it's been over 10 years of development in terms of real estate, maybe less so on infrastructure, but really there is no equal in the market as of yet in terms of being able to provide investors the information that they need to understand the sustainability practices of their real assets. And quite astonishing considering real assets are kind of large and lumpy and very illiquid, and so really you're holding those assets for a very long time, and sustainability is absolutely critical. So I want to thank you all for joining the Standards Committee, and also good to see some familiar faces. Adam, we have worked together for a very long time on the Infrastructure Advisory Board, and we've done a lot of work in kind of helping to shape how infrastructure sustainability standards have been evolving and developing. So welcome, everyone. You're on mute.
Oh yes, thank you.
It's 2022, Rick, come on.
Yeah. It's 9 in the morning. So thanks everyone. What we'll do is just go straight to the questions. you're welcome to take yourself off mute or to put your hand up using the little signal there. So let's just get stuck into it. Has anyone got something they want to start with?
It's John here. I might kind of say a couple of things. So first
Sure.
one is I might have missed the email for the training video. So I'll go through my emails, but if you can send it again, that would be helpful for me. Unfortunately, I missed that. Sorry. And I just wanted to. So when I got notified the other day, I actually put a request in just to make sure that there's no market sensitive information that would require wall crossing on any publicly traded securities. So I'm just kind of, it's not a question, but it's just a notification if there's any sensitive information information that could be deemed sensitive related to public securities. I've been told there wouldn't be in this committee. I would need to recuse myself from that element of the discussion. So I don't think it will be an issue. I'm just kind of flagging that up front for everyone just to keep in mind, because I work in the public markets and obviously the information is increasingly sensitive as it relates to ESG regarded publicly traded companies. So just putting it out there. Thanks.
Thanks for that, John. And this is I'll do the school teacher part of the session. So please, everyone, put your hand up if you have not received the training video. Preferably, can you put it up in the thing, because I can't see all of you at once on this view. So just click the little reaction button to raise your hand. So there's a little reaction down the bottom, and then there's a raise hand bottom. So, or in John's case, he's clapping, which is fine. So put that hand up, and okay, it looks like it's just John. Everyone else has received it. Oh no, Adam as well. Great. So we'll make.
Did you receive it? The second question is, did you watch it?
So please do watch that. That will help you. It's only about 16 minutes. It's a bit of me droning on. Apologies for that, but I'm sure you can stand 16 minutes of me droning on, and then you'll be much more up to speed on the GRESB Foundation, and it will help you prepare. So we'll make sure that Tricia as well. We'll make sure that we get you send you that training video again. So one's onto that right now.
Yeah, I'll send those links.
And while we're on that last school teacher bit, put your hands down, please. Did anyone not receive the terms of reference through DocuSign to sign? I think, again, most of you have signed that, but I just asked that. Okay, Tricia, you've just still got your hand up, so I'm assuming that's just stayed up. Yep, okay, cool. All right, that's the end of the school teacher bit. Back to the questions.
Just a comment for John White, maybe, just to let you know that the video is almost kind of a version of the terms of reference. So if you've read the terms of reference, you probably picked up most of the gist of the video. So,
Okay, thanks, John.
Anybody who's next?
I'll have another go then.
Yeah, go.
Just in terms of, so I can kind of work out the time allocation. What's the length of papers? What's the cadence of the time to review? I know that was in the terms of reference, I should say. Sorry, I didn't read them. But how much time would you expect us to be spending on preparation for the individual committee meetings?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I'll give you a two-part answer to that. So we're in a little bit of an intense short period now where we're in this roadmap development process to work out how the standards will evolve over the next few years. So it's quite an intense little phase that we're entering. And we're in the strategy part of that. Last year, we did the vision part, and we did that with our old governance groups, which some of you were represented on. Now we're moving to the new governance and continuing that process. So we're not restarting. So we're moving from a vision, which has been prepared, and you'll be sent information on what the vision is, to the strategy now. So fleshing out the vision into more of a strategy. And then the last phase, which will be later in the year, we'll be taking that strategy into a more detailed roadmap. So that's the process we're going into. So over the next 2 to 3 months up to May, there will be a little bit more intense than the normal cadence. So we have a series of meetings. We've sent those out, I think, already to you, haven't we, Joss? to book them into your calendars. So there's 3 meetings up to May. So that's probably a bit more intense than what will be the normal cadence, just to get through this intense little phase. The meetings are typically going to be 1.5 to maybe even for the longest one, 3 hours long, depending on what we've got to cover. In terms of preparation, it's going to vary a little bit. We'll try to keep it pretty manageable. We'll try to make the papers very sharp and to the point. Even if there's reading volume, the questions and what we're going to cover will be sharp and pointed, hopefully, as much as possible, and you know, give you a set of options or certain questions to prepare for. But there will be obviously appendices and reading material behind that. So, you know, we think it'll take a couple of hours for you to go through that stuff in your own time and to prepare for the meetings. And the more people prepare, you know the drill, the more you prepare for the meetings, the better they'll run, the easier they will be, the more we'll get out of them, of course. So we really ask that you put aside some time to do that. We will, as the terms of reference say, we will try to get you that meeting agenda and materials 8 days prior. Unfortunately, on this occasion, we're just on a tight time frame with the whole start of the standards committee, so it'll be a little bit less than that, but we'll certainly be aiming to get to that 8-day in advance, sending that information.
Maybe I can offer just some specifics. The agenda will be coming its way to you tomorrow, whether you're real estate or infrastructure, tomorrow my time. So I'm in Amsterdam at the moment. Yeah, there will be, as Rick said, for this initial meeting, there'll be, I would say, pretty light in terms of input before the meeting, a bit of reading to do, and some questions we've posed to you as well. And going forward, we envisage there will be papers that we share between meetings that we're looking for your insights on, and preparation and thinking in the run up to the 3 meetings we have in the development of the strategy. But we should be outlining most of that work to you at the meeting next week to outline the plan ahead, and hopefully that will help fit things in, because yeah, we're well aware you've all got busy schedules, and grateful you're helping out on the side with this work as well.
There's also a short survey that we'll ask you to do before the first meeting as well, but it's quite short and hopefully won't take too long. Great, Adam, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. Good morning, everybody. So, Rick, yeah, you've spoken about how the next few months out to May is quite focused on contributions around the roadmap and things like that. Just in terms of objectives and expectations, assuming that all comes together quite well across both infra and real estate, is there a view around that allowing enough runway time for any near-term adjustments that might be made or recommended to the 2022 assessments? Is there enough time, as Greg's considered, is there enough time to sort of interrogate the roadmap process and then make any adjustments in time for the release of the 2022 assessments?
It's a good question. No, there's not enough time, so we won't be making any changes to the 2022 assessments. There's a few kind of minor corrections and things, but basically no changes to 2022, unfortunately. So the plan will be more about 2023 onwards. Even for 2023, there will be some, limitations to how much we'll be able to do. Again, that will be up to the standards committees and the foundation board to decide how much change to make in 23. So that will be another decision. So there'll be a roadmap for the next few years, and included will be what needs to change in the 2023 standards. So we need to have those 2023 standards developed by the end of this year.
Yep. And perhaps just as a follow-up to that, and it came up on the call, the midnight call last night, just can you just elaborate for the group here, what the sort of expectations are, and perhaps if Deborah's still on the call, for the feedback loops between the standards committees and the foundation board? Yeah, for sure. And I'll go, and then Deborah can happy to add. So there's a requirement that the foundation board set that each standards committee shall report to the foundation board. There's not too much details being laid out for that, but that can be verbal, that could be written.
But yeah, there's a need for each stands committee to do that. It could be verbal at a foundation board meeting by probably the chair giving a report. But it also could potentially be written if that was satisfactory for the foundation board. But yes, that's a requirement that reporting happens. The other thing to note is that after that report, if it's at a foundation board meeting, the representative from the standards committee would leave the meeting. They would not sit on as an observer. That's something, again, the foundation board has explained. Deb, do you have anything to add to that or thoughts?
No, not really. I think you kind of captured it well. I mean, the foundation board has really literally just been put together very recently. So we've been really focused on sort of setting up these standards committees right now. And we are, going to be eventually sort of looking at sort of those intersections. But I think I could tell you that from the board standpoint, it is critically important that we have a strong link between the standards committee and the foundation board, because my objective and the objective of the foundation board is to kind of make sure that GRASB, Rick, kind of like cover your ears, but we really want to make sure that GRASB is fit for purpose for investors and asset owners, and really driven by kind of the needs of the people that are allocating capital and to real assets. And so the big thing is really making sure that there's a strong governance structure. And the critical point of that would be how the standards committees then feed into the foundation board, because you guys are the front line in terms of advising the foundation board on the direction of the standards, and we have that kind of control and ownership really of the IP and of how the standards are developed, so that the input is absolutely critical for us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Deb. Adam, got a follow-up?
Yeah, just another question which I think came up again on the earlier call is around managing time zones. I mean, clearly we got most of the Australian neck of the woods on the call here today, and the challenge of getting, as we know from experience, people in Europe and North America and everybody on calls at the same time. I think the schedule at the moment, most of the calls are quite late night. I think there's one coming up which is a more detailed 2 to 3 hour meeting that sort of kicks off at 11 p.m. So I think there's a recognition that in this part of the world we have to kind of get used to that kind of thing. But I heard last night the appetite is to try to spread the love a bit around the different time zones as we move forward.
Yeah, exactly right. I guess we'll talk to the standards committees themselves, the people involved, about what will work best for them. Obviously, there's going to have to be compromises in that. But we've set the first meetings up because we needed to do that, get them in your calendars. But after those first set of meetings, then we'll talk to the committee and see what's going to suit best. Maybe you're happy with a certain time and that works for everybody and you can cope with it, or maybe you want to rotate. Are very open to those ideas. We're trying a rotation with the foundation board, but yeah, it'll be up to the committee to decide how to do that. And also, I guess it's important, to be able to communicate asynchronously and between the meetings effectively as well, and not rely on the meetings just to be everything, because it can be tough, to try to lump everything into a meeting when it's not very convenient for everybody. So if we can make the meetings shorter and tighter and focused, then more things that can perhaps get done between meetings, which might be more convenient from a time zone perspective. But we'll have to see how that goes. We'll definitely be doing our best. One of the things that we're investigating to help aid that is we're looking at a platform for the foundation in terms of sort of sharing documents and communication. There's a platform called Cahoots that we're looking at perhaps using, and that will make that whole kind of process easier. We want to make it as easy as possible. So rather than emails and all kinds of things and not knowing where the documents are and did I get the latest version and all that stuff, if we have a platform that helps that will be one of the things that can make the whole process easier. Okay, anybody else?
I think maybe just it'll be good to hear you verbalize the relationship that the standards committee has with the working groups and the technical groups as well, and how that comes together. And is the working group like just a big group of people that we then pick on to do certain projects, or how do you see all that playing out?
Yeah, the way the Foundation Board have designed it is that we have an expert resource group, which will be very much a pool of people available to help with technical matters. We will draw from that pool to form working groups from time to time on particular specialist topics, and they will go away and have a project to do something, and then they'll have a time frame, and they will do that work and then come and present back to the standards committee with a recommendation or something like that, and then they cease that working group will finish then at that point. So that's kind of how it's envisaged. There might be other things from time to time where we just go to a certain expert resource group member and just have a brief discussion to resolve an issue. Doesn't need a whole working group as well. But that, yeah, essentially the expert resource group will be a pool of people with expertise in particular ESG topics. That's the idea. So they're a little bit different to the standards committee people, although of course some of you are specialists in certain areas as well as being probably generalists in, ESG and sustainable investing and infrastructure and real estate. So that's their role. We won't have a cap. Okay, see you, Trish. We won't have a cap on the number in the expert resource group, but we do want to have specialists there, not just a landing place for anybody and everybody. But that's I guess the next recruitment process that the Foundation Board will be doing is finalising the appointments to the expert resource group, and those applications are open for another 10 days. Is the deadline for the expert resource group.
I assume that it will only be the standards committees that can instruct those groups to be formed, or there's no relationship between GRESB and those groups, I assume.
GRESB is the secretariat, so we do what the Foundation wants in terms of organising logistics and all of that. The Foundation Board may also, I guess, want a working group to be formed as well. That's possible, but yeah, I think mostly it's going to be coming out of the standards committee work.
Something I'll also take back to the Foundation Board. That comment, I think it's a good comment, and let me take that back to the board as well.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to stay around if anyone's got any more questions. But yeah, hopefully you're landing, getting a good onboarding process, landing into the standards committee, ready to go, knowing what's going on. Please, if anything else comes up that's going to help you to be prepared, particularly for next week, but in general, then just reach out. For infrastructure, Joss will be your secretary looking after your committee. For real estate, it will be Charles Van Thiel, who many of you know. He's unfortunately not feeling so well, so unable to join us on the call now. But many of you know Charles as well. So just reach out to those people. Joss and Charles will be your main liaison person for the standards committee. So they're there to help you and make sure that you're ready to go and you've got everything you need. Great. Well, welcome everybody. For those in my time zone, have a great day, and for those for you in the later time zone, good evening.
Rick, do they have the email addresses of the Foundation Board members?
That's a good question. Email addresses for standards committee members will be circulated as part of the agenda paper. Not Foundation Board members. We hadn't.
Okay, well, I'm happy for them to for you to provide my email address, and I'll talk to my colleagues on the board if there's any kind of further questions as well. Happy for you to reach out directly as well to me. Great.
And once we set up Cahoots as well, assuming we do buy the package, there'll be communication like that will be much easier because there'll be kind of groups and it'll be very easy on that platform. But until then, yeah, emails are a great way. Thanks, Deb. All right, well, thanks everyone again. and we look forward to getting the Standards Committee going and working with you.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.